Instead of starting off today with what you probably expect, which is updates on the likely Trump indictment, which we have some big ones on that, but I'm going to hold that a little bit and instead start with Kari Lake and a disturbing event that she held that I mentioned to you yesterday, and now we have footage from it. And we're going to get to clips, but up front I want to say, as I mentioned yesterday, the reason why this is so absurd is not because it's a prayer event. Prayer is beautiful. It's because of what they're praying about. And what they're praying about is Kari Lake's election lies. And so for me, there's something, while Kari Lake doesn't believe, I don't think, the lies she's telling, this is a grift and she's raising tons of money off of it, saying she actually won in 2022, the gubernatorial race, even though she lost, and maybe she'll get installed governor still and all that. While she doesn't believe these things, her followers do. And that is represented so much by them praying about it. Because to me, prayer is an authentic expression of believing in something, right? And they believe it so much they'll pray for the Arizona Supreme Court. Now that her election challenge has been appealed up to the Arizona Supreme Court, will side with the lies that Kari Lake is telling over the facts. Luckily, they won't side with the lies. They will side with the facts, as the other courts have. And they'll pray to God to get involved in some way. And that is just... I've mentioned to y'all, I promise we'll get to these clips, but I've mentioned to y'all that doing this show has taught me how to kind of separate my emotions a little bit from the brain functioning of analyzing these wild stories, so that I'm not getting physically angry or physically disturbed or sad all the time. But occasionally certain stories snap me back into feeling, as I could always do if I choose to, but I try not to so that I can stay sane. But occasionally, involuntarily, boom, I feel all of it. And something about this event did that for me, where I was just sad that so many people believe these lies, thinking that Kari Lake actually won when she just didn't. And that is, again, the word I use, disturbing to me. Here's the first clip.
If you followed me, you probably know that about a week or two before the election, I was praying, and I just had kind of the Holy Spirit. I was feeling it. And God gave me word that this might not go the way you think it's going to go. And the way I thought it was going to go, because of what I was seeing on the campaign trail, with the people of Arizona from all walks of life, whether they're rural, whether they're a rancher, whether they're a stay-at-home mom, a businessman, a student, a youngster, we had come together in this great movement because we want to have our state go in a great, prosperous, wonderful direction. And so I figured with this movement, unlike we've ever seen, that was led by God, who used me with the skills I had to help lead it and get everyone together, we were going to have a landslide victory. Which, by the way, I'll let you in on the secret. We did have a landslide victory. Okay?
But, Kari, I could get up on a stage and say, give me a round of applause for running 100 marathons over the last 100 days. That doesn't mean I ran it. That doesn't mean... it's so detached from reality. And then there's, woohoo, yeah, you actually wanted a landslide. But that's not the thing about that, though, is that no, it didn't happen.
But God came to me in prayer about a week and a half before the election and said, probably not going to go exactly how you think it's going to go. The victory will still be yours, but it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And I just said to him, it's all for you, whatever you want, whatever you need. And I do believe with every fiber of my being that we needed to open more eyes and wake more people up to what's happening. Unfortunately,
the only way I can define this is coping hard. Coping as hard as you can. As she can.
Painful sometimes, right? But think how much has been revealed. And I'm not going to get too political. I really don't want to get political. Think how much has been revealed. When we saw what happened on November 8th, a lot of eyes were woken about people who didn't believe the previous election was fraught with fraud. They saw it. They didn't just see it, they felt it. They were standing there when the ballots were spitting out. And so we have opened eyes to what's happening, not just eyes around Arizona, not just eyes in America.
Right. Okay, so you get the point there. But what's fascinating is who predominantly, for a very long time, has been saying the left, or has been accusing the other side of being snowflakes, of being so sensitive, of needing a safe space. The right was accusing the left of that, right? But now we have an entire, and I have a second clip here for you to get to, but we have an entire political movement, the kind of election denying MAGA movement, a reminder that 63%, the last poll we looked at, Republicans think Biden's win was illegitimate. A massive movement centered around a lie that was built because of, and again, I'm not saying that all the followers, I'm not saying at all that the followers don't actually believe this. They do. But the leaders created this lie based on hurt fifis. That's what it was. They needed a safe space, so they created a safe space of lies where they actually won the election. They were snowflakes. They couldn't take the feeling that countless other politicians have felt when they've lost elections, so they created, starting with Trump, the big example, created this whole alternate reality around themselves where they actually won and it was cheated from them. Kari Lake can't just accept, like an adult, that she lost her election because she got less votes. And that's how it played out. And then you have to accept it and you move forward. And the only reason you wouldn't accept it is because is if you actually had evidence to the contrary to prove that our election system wasn't secure, that there was fraud, and they have not brought forward that evidence. We've gone through in the past, more specifically, Kari Lake's claims in her case, and then obviously, of course, Trump and all of his wild claims. But truly, the sensitive feelings, the inability to accept reality, the hurt fifis, has launched this entire movement into believing lies. That's wild and that's sad. Second moment here.
We're going to win this, guys. We're going to find out what everyone's made of in our state. We're going to find out who the corrupt ones are, who the good guys are, who cares deeply and believes in God. And I have complete faith in that. And I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm not going to stop fighting. So I want you to know that. So please continue to pray, not just for a victory here, a court ruling here, a positive outcome there. Pray for the bigger prayer, an end to corruption, a restoration of God's glory, and a restoration of our God-given rights.
So there it is. And listen, it is 100% the case that those following Kari Lake and Trump and all the election deniers, they're adults, should be able to separate fact from fiction, and they're responsible for their dangerous and anti-democratic actions. But something about that type of event just gives me that energy of they're all believing these lies, so culty, and something about that just makes me sad for the whole, obviously for what it means about our democracy, but for the lives of those individuals that they've been manipulated into believing these things, and they've made a decision to believe these things. Again, they're responsible for it. Let me know what you think of all that, and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the extra bonus show on Saturdays, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. Link in the description.